GM in group text with teammates, calling him former Bulls GM Jerry Krause. Krause was seen as a foe to Michael Jordan in the 90s. His former teammate, Brett Favre, said today he's not optimistic that Rodgers will stay in Green Bay, adding, quote, "My gut tells me that he'd rather sit out than play." Woo! We gotta have at least one Acho on the show today. So we couldn't get Emmanuel in here, so we got Sam on the stage. Where does Aaron Rodgers go? Where should he go next season?
If I'm Aaron Rodgers, the only place I go is back home to Green Bay, and let me tell you why. So, number one, you have the best offensive lineman, offensive tackle in the game in David Bakhtiari. You don't want to leave him. He's really important to your team. Number two, you have a really solid running back in Aaron Jones. You don't want to leave him. He's really important to your team. But then I think what's most important to Aaron Rodgers' decision is his, I'll call him a tweet buddy now because he's tweeting on his behalf, Devontae Adams. They have a relationship. They have like a sixth sense. They've been working together for year after year after year. You have Pro Bowlers on your team. You don't want to leave these guys for what may be considered greener pastures. So if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm staying in Green Bay. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care how mad I feel. I got to stay in Green Bay.
What you got, Rick?
You know, it must be part of the Acho family credo that we make arguments that are well said, logical, and yet somehow are still detached from reality.
Oh, wow.
Aaron Rodgers going back to Green Bay after all that has been said and done, and after all of the years in which they haven't given him, yes, they might give him a great left tackle, but have they given him the receivers? Have they given him the running game? Have they given him the defense consistently in order to win? There's only one place at this stage of Aaron Rodgers' career that makes sense. One and only one, and whatever is second is distant, and it's not Green Bay. Number one is going back home. When you said going back home, I was like, yes, he's on it. It's the 49ers. That's what's going back home for Aaron Rodgers. The star from Cal, the guy who was miffed that they didn't take him at the beginning of his career. He now gets to go home, and he's equipped with a team that has everything that Green Bay has not been able to give him. He closes the circle. He wins a Super Bowl at home. Both sides make amends for the mistake made some 16, 17 years ago, and everybody goes home happy. That is the ideal place. If we're talking about where Aaron Rodgers should want to play, can you imagine playing in Santa Clara? That balmy weather in Santa Clara after what he's been able to do on the frozen tundra? I can't think of a better place to ease into retirement than with the 49ers.
Sam, I got you. Don't worry about this, all right? Listen, Rick.
Rick is tripping.
I don't think Sam needs any help.
Your statement was way further removed from reality than what you accused Sam's of being. I actually think Sam's is, I think that there's something there
you
to
can
it.
say 100% accurate. Feel free to say 100% accurate. I'm cool with that. I'm ready for that.
I can say it's not a bad thought to go back to where you're comfortable being and trying to work it out. That's called being married to some people.
He's
I don't know.
Being in Green Bay?
There's a lot of times you're going to ask your spouse, can you guys work it out and go forward?
Hey,
things
Lavar,
get a little interesting.
Slick Rick must have not watched the draft. And Rick, I love you. I've been on the show a couple times. My brother and he'll share a couple clips of you talking and doing the thing. Trey Lance plays for San Francisco.
Yes, he does.
Jimmy Graham plays.
Garoppolo, yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo plays for San Francisco.
He does.
They might just get Jimmy Graham, too. You talk about weather. You're talking about somebody needs to go to get some good weather. Send Jimmy Graham there. So check me out, Slick Rick. It sounds great. I want to go to warm weather. I want to be out in San Fran. It's not realistic. It's not realistic. It doesn't make any sense. They've got two quarterbacks who are top-level quarterbacks. Why would they go and get Aaron Rodgers when you just drafted number 3 overall, the quarterback for your future? And you have the quarterback for right now.
Can I answer that? Lavar, can I answer that?
Please do. Go ahead. Y'all go right ahead.
All right, so you're going to have to trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
So you're probably going to give something up
in
order to get Aaron Rodgers. And Jimmy Garoppolo, you can cut right now and save $22 million, the way his contract is structured. So technically, they can make it work. And I would assume, whether it's Garoppolo or it's Trey Lance, something is going to have to go back the other way in order to get Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think it's as unrealistic or that they're unable to do this thing simply because of the quarterbacks that they have right now.
It is.
The difference between plays for the 49ers and played for the 49ers is just a matter of time. And once we get to June 1st, then it makes sense for the Green Bay Packers, too, because of all the cap relief that they could potentially
All right, Rick,
have.
let me help you out here with Sam. I'm going to help you out here, all right? I got you, Rick. I got this.
Help him out, man. Help him out.
Now, Sam, here's why I have to disagree with you on him going back to Green Bay, even though I'm close to having Green Bay colors on today. I mean, I'll take that. But here's why. What quarterback is going to put Aaron Rodgers currently where he's at in that NFC North conference in the conversation of being the best quarterback in the game, the greatest in the game? Is it Kirk Cousins? Jared Goff? Is it going to be Justin Fields? You're going to have to match up against Justin Fields 2 times a year. Not one of those quarterbacks, not yet at least for Justin Fields, because I'm high on him. But not one of those quarterbacks just yet says to me, screams out, put Aaron Rodgers in the greatest of all time conversation. He was able to get that MVP last year, but we still said Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the game. He's going to Denver. Why is he going to Denver? The reason he's going to Denver, he's got 3 young receivers, really nice receivers. They added a guard in the draft, a nice strong guard from out of Wisconsin. He works out on trees, wrestles bears, lions, and tigers on his spare time.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he does. And listen, they shored up their defense. They took the option on Von Miller. They got Pat Surtain the second in the draft. They loaded up at a lot of different positions on the defensive side of the ball. They are preparing. They're not only trying to get better in terms of a team as Denver, they are preparing the plate and the table for Aaron Rodgers to show up and say, hey, Aaron, you do know that we play against Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Oh, by the way, they got Herbert and the Chargers in L.A. You get to play against him twice a year. And, oh, by the way, you know, Carr, I mean, we ain't going to put him in the same conversation, but he's ranked the top 10 quarterback by Pro Football Focus. So you get a top 10 quarterback with Carr, and you get to play against the #1 guy that's on the totem pole of best quarterbacks. That puts Aaron Rodgers in the GOAT conversation, and that, my friend, is why he will not return to Green Bay. Go ahead. Move your chess pieces.
Lavar, let me go and let me just break it down for you. Play chess a little bit.
This is chess right now.
I'm gonna play a little bit of chess. I'm a grandmaster over here.
Take your queen real quick.
I'm a grandmaster. So check this out. Aaron Rodgers is upset at the situation. He doesn't have control in Green Bay. That's why he wants to get out. He wants more control. I want to keep my players. I want to get draft first-round receivers. That's what I want. I want control. You say go to Denver. It sounds great. Mind you, I played for Vic Fangio, the head coach of Denver, for 4 years in Chicago. Vic's not the guy who's going to give you any control. Vic is actually probably going to be worse for you in Denver than what you ever had in Green Bay. And so going to Denver isn't the answer, #1. And that was piece #1.
That was a checker move. That was a checker move.
That's enough.
Let me put you in checkmate. Let me put you in checkmate. What will Denver give up to let Green Bay say yes?
Whatever they need.
Whatever
they need to do.
Pat Surtain, right? You say Pat Surtain.
They won't give up Pat
Can't give up Pat. And you know what? Green Bay doesn't need Pat Surtain. They have Jair Alexander, phenomenal corner. They drafted a first-round corner, so you're not going to give up Pat Surtain. Okay, let's say Bradley Chubb. Let's go get Bradley Chubb or Von Miller. Oh, wait. Already got the Smith brothers, and they're dominant.
Right.
They're dominant. So what exactly would Denver give up in this philosophical world that Slick Rick and you were living in? What would Denver give up to make this dream scenario a reality?
That's
nothing.
such a slip.